I'm your host, Rail Allen, and today I have a very, very special guest. Good friend of mine. Look at her, just so already ready to perform. That's so beautiful. Good friend of mine, man. We go way back to the Blue 47 days.
Yes.
Yeah, so long ago. Yeah, that has since burned down. Yeah, we don't talk about that. Maybe we shouldn't. Yeah, you know. Yeah. Pour a lot of little liquor, man, for Blue 47, man. Some good times had in that place.
Homies.
Yeah. There's nothing. That's where the that pizza place is at, right? But is there anything upstairs?
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think anything is up there. Well, I'm sure there's something, but nothing like that.
No.
Yeah.
No.
So.
No, those days are gone.
No, way gone. But yeah, this is
Kitti O Shea Butter.
AKA Kitti O Shea Butter. I love that name. That's a black ass name too.
Thank you. That was the purpose.
Anything with Shea Butter in it, it's just got okay. Yeah.
That was exactly it.
Like if somebody was named Kitti O Shea Butter, and I walked up and seen like a white person, it was just like, okay, I know white people use Shea Butter, but I don't know if I can. That would just be weird.
Wait, do they?
I mean, I feel like some of them, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Maybe.
Okay.
You know, have I ever actually seen it?
No, I haven't.
Maybe it's a myth. Maybe we need to ask. That's a poll question.
That is a poll.
Do white people use Shea Butter?
Hey, let us know.
Yeah, if we gonna figure that out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anybody out there in the audience, people, viewers, man, if you're white, drop in the comments. If you use Shea Butter, man, just let us know. We're curious. We want to find out. So you are a burlesque performer.
I am.
As Kitti O Shea Butter.
Yes, sir.
So I want to get into that because I think that's very interesting. I myself have never been to a burlesque show.
Never?
Never. Not one time. And I don't know, I've never really had an opportunity to go. But I would imagine I've learned, I knew I'm not completely ignorant as to what happens. But I know people might have some misconceptions about what actually goes down at a burlesque show.
A good ass time.
Oh yeah, I'm sure it's a good time it's had by all. But if you, to a lay person, somebody like me that's never actually gone, can you kind of give like a little, a vision into the burlesque world as to what actually happens? You know what I'm saying? Like at a typical Kitti O Shea Butter show.
Well, burlesque is basically the art of striptease.
Right.
So you're just going to have a very, very fun time. Maybe it's live band. Maybe it's a recorded act. Maybe someone has a board. Maybe someone has feather fans. But it's always a funky good time.
Yeah. So I was reading something, and it's just like kind of like directing the gaze. It's just like it's just like you direct your attention to like a glove and like the way you remove the glove.
Yeah.
And you know what I'm saying? And just being very real, very sensual in that manner is just like using those type of things and not necessarily just focusing on like I'm just gonna take my clothes off.
No. It's like I said earlier, it's the art of strip tease.
Right.
So you want to make sure that you're teasing. It's like, oh, okay, you see that? No, you can't have that. You're not worthy. You want it? You really want it?
Right.
Then well, I'm going to peel it real slow. I'm going to make sure you're focused on me.
Now I got to go to a show. So how did you get into this, man? How did you start?
Well, let's see. I always knew about burlesque, but it really took me to go to a Jeezy's juke joint. Jeez Louise is a powerhouse. She's one of my muses, mentors, just an all-around dope ass performer. That's why I'm like, you've never heard of it? Because for years she was doing it in different places in the city, but it was 10 years that she had been doing it. So 10 years ago, I went and I sat out in the audience. And she always had burlesque performers of color. The whole show. Okay. It's a black ass show. Just excellence. And when I saw it, it was just performer after performer after performer. And everyone was just so dope. And they had all these different styles. And I was just like, I'm going to do that. And I'm sitting in that seat and I'm looking at it. And I'm like, yeah, that's going to happen for me. And 10 years later, I opened for her.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So that's a full circle moment.
It was a whole, man, it was a circle.
So what was that like? And how did that come about?
So, so after going to the show and just becoming a fanatic. Like,
so you were just like completely smitten the first time?
Completely smitten.
Okay.
So I'm starting to follow all of these dancers, all of these different performers, and every year that she had the show, I would always go. Even when she started adding more shows, I would go to Friday. If she had 2 shows on Friday, if she had a show on Saturday, I'm just immersing myself in it.
Okay.
Then I started taking classes. Like one year for my mother's birthday, I gifted my mom a private burlesque class.
Oh.
That's actually how I got my name.
Really?
Yeah, because my mother and I were, we were being taught by my mentor, Pochop.
Okay.
So when we were taking the class, Pochop asked my mom, she was like, what would your stage name be? And my mother, without a beat, goes, Ms Kitti. And I'm like, wait, hey, lady. And you said that too easy.
Right, like you didn't thought about this before.
Yeah, right. So, so when it came time for me to like choose a name, it was like, thought about my mom and Kitty, and then Kitti O Shea, that's some Chicago shit. Right. But then Shea Butter, I'm black and I'm smooth as hell. You can't deny it.
Shit.
So,
all right.
So, I was taking classes, and then just I took dance classes. I did a performance like that. I was like, you know what? I'm Beyonce. I want to do this. I was also getting a couple little microaggressions that I didn't like. So I'm like, forget it. I want to be able to do all of this on my own. And what a lot of people don't really realize, when you looking at these burlesque performers, we do the choreography. We do our costumes. We call the lights. It's so much that goes into this one performance, and you practice and you do all these things, and then you give to the audience, and you're hoping that it's received well. But you come off feeling just like, I did that shit. I did it. Like my costume, the choreography. This is all me. It's all me.
So the first time you did an official show, like walk me through that. Like, were you nervous? Did you learn some things, or did you make any like rookie mistakes, or like how did it go?
The first time I did an official show by myself or in a group.
But by yourself, the first time you ever did like anything official as like, a burlesque before, as Kitti O Sheabutter.
As Kitti O Sheabutter. Yeah, I was nervous as hell.
I can imagine.
I still get nervous. I still get nervous. It's one of those things, but it was like, okay, all right, you did this, you trained for this, but really, it really was, honestly, Jeezy's juke joint that had my nerves because I know that was the circle. Yeah. Like I had done stuff and I was getting hired and I was getting booked. I started in 2019. Okay. And then the world shut down. Right. Yeah. I was starting to perform. I'm getting paid for gigs. People are asking me to do stuff out of town. And, so it's like, it's picking up. And then all of a sudden it's like, nah, y'all got to sit down. Nobody go outside.
Yeah, nobody. Yeah.
So, but I didn't stop. Like, even when I was at home, I was going to virtual classes. Okay. I was making costumes. I was still immersing myself in burlesque.
So you weren't going to let that stop you?
No. Okay. Not it. I actually did a couple, virtual shows.
Really?
I did. I actually did a virtual show that aired in London.
Wow.
Yeah.
How was that?
Well, that was a very sobering experience because nobody yelled, nobody screamed for me, and that's weird. Let me just put that out there. Okay. Because people are sitting there looking at you like this. So I'm like, oh shit, don't look at the screen, like if I'm dancing for you in person, I get your energy. I can feel what you're, you giving me something. Right. You're giving me something. Even if you just stone-faced, you're going to give me something. Right. But when you're performing in front of a camera and it's just people just staring at you and then they type, 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 type.
Yeah.
Woo, type, 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 type. Yeah. Type, 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 type. Take it off. Type, type, type. It's so weird.
Yeah. That was a strange time, man, when people were trying to do things virtually. And we were all just trying our best. But I can imagine that it would be tough to translate that type of energy virtually. Yeah. That's crazy.
It was. And so, when I did that, I was just like, okay. I was like, stop looking at the comments. Don't look at the people. I'm like, well, what do I look at? I just don't know what to do. Okay, just perform.
It's just like when Ricky Bobby, I don't know what to do with my hands.
Listen. So when it was time to like finally get back on the stage, and like I said with Jeezy and her reaching out to me and like, hey, you want to? And I'm like, yes, of course.
Right.
And so now I'm like, okay, this is what you've been training for. You've been working for this.
Right.
And I remember right before I went out, I was nervous. My heart is coming out my throat. It's the opening night and I'm watching everybody perform. I had people come in from New York. I had people come in from St. Louis.
Mm-hmm.
I had my mother came.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Now
was that her first time seeing you perform?
Yes.
Oh wow.
And like with my mom.
So it's not like there was already enough pressure.
And my mother was like this. Like I'm very open.
Mm-hmm.
Mom, look, I'm doing burlesque. And she's like, ooh, baby, that's so cute. But do you have to take your clothes off? And I'm like, yeah, Ma, that's
kind of a part of it.
Yeah, that's kind of a part of it. So when I invited her to come to the show, she was like, okay, I'll come. And she brought my godmother. Mm. So, so I have people there, and heart is in my throat. And Pochop was backstage, and she's like, you're going to kill it. Don't worry, Kitty, you got it. And I'm like, yeah. She said, just remember, might not be able to hear your music. She said, it's so, because we were at the California Clipper. Uh-huh. She was like, it's so many people out there, you might not be able to hear your music. And I'm like, what? And as soon as they pulled back the curtain, the heat hit me. And the crowd was like, what? And I had a whistle, and I like dropped it because I was so nervous. I dropped my whistle. And so I picked it up and I blew it and I marched on stage and I'm just looking at these people and everybody is screaming, but I visualized. Mm-hmm. I spent a lot of time before the show. I imagined people just yelling for me and screaming for me and just seeing myself just on stage, just killing it. Okay. So when they were screaming and they were yelling, at first it was like, oh my God, but something just clicked. And then it was like, oh my God. And I just started having so much fun. And just at one point in the routine, I just stopped and I was standing there. I was pretty naked. And, I stopped and I looked out and everybody is just going, wow. And I'm like, are they screaming for me? And I'm like, hell yeah, they're screaming for me. Tassel twirl. Boom. Hit it. It was amazing.
Wow, man. Yeah, that sounds like a pretty awesome experience.
Yeah, it was amazing.
And I could just tell, like, you telling that story, like, the energy that's exuding off of you, man. Like, you really, really do. Like, you love it. Like, this really is a passion for you.
Yeah. Yes.
So it's always good to see, especially, when you discover things, like, later on in life, and you just never know where you might find that thing, and something that kind of, like, because as we get older, we're supposed to go through evolutions, right? We're supposed to evolve. We're supposed to find new things, right? That's kind of what keeps things fresh, in a sense, what keeps you young, what keeps you happy, because, everything gets stale after a while, right? You have to, even the things you're always going to be doing, you have to find ways to, like, reinvent it, to interject new things, new life into it. Yeah. So I can just tell you just telling that story, like, you just completely came alive, man.
But you want to know the real crazy part?
What's that?
Like, I've been unemployed since January. So the day that they were giving me my pink slip was the day that I had somebody in my DMs hiring me as a burlesque dancer.
Wow.
Yeah. Like, as soon as they were giving me that, I checked my phone, and it was somebody like, are you available for the show? It's paid, blah, blah, blah. I was like, thank you.
Talking about divine timing.
Thank you.
Yeah. You know, and it's crazy how things, when you start moving in a certain direction, you may be unsure about it. Like, if you really supposed to be doing that, things are going to line up. Stuff is going to happen.
Stuff has been happening.
And
it's been so divine. And so I do not waste any of it. I am so grateful. I'm so thankful. It is amazing what is happening in my life. It is so good right now.
That's beautiful, man. That's beautiful. So I want to ask you, right? So I did a little digging. Just did a little research on the internet.
Okay.
And so I was curious in terms of like how people define burlesque in terms of its correlation to sex work. Like, do people define burlesque dancers, performers as sex workers? And it was kind of divided.
Yeah.
In terms of what people think. So there is a NYC burlesque dancer, and I'm probably mispronouncing his name. It's Akinos,
Yes.
AkYnos.
Yes.
Okay.
She's amazing.
Yeah. So
Amazing performer.
So she's saying, you know, it has its origins in sex work, right?
Yes.
So like, you know, back in the 1800s, when you wanted a female performer to do something risque, who else were you going to ask other than a prostitute?
Right.
No other woman in society, especially, you know, we much more buttoned up and pent up back then.
Because purity.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? So the only woman you would be able to get to do something like that on stage in those days would be a prostitute. So in that way, yeah, you kind of share a history in it, so you can find your origins in sex work from burlesque dancers, right? But most modern burlesque dancers don't want to have any association to like stripping or prostitution or anything like that.
Which is kind of, I understand prostitution, even though there are a lot of burlesque workers who are sex workers. Whatever. But, you know, burlesque is like the grandmother to stripping.
So it's funny that you say that because there was another burlesque dancer, Ms Sugarpuss, in Montreal. You ever heard of Ms Sugarpuss?
I have not. I'm going to look her up.
It's a great name.
It is.
I came across a lot of, when doing this, I came across a lot. These are some really creative ass names.
Absolutely.
Ms Sugarpuss. Just rolls off the tongue, doesn't it? But she said, I'm not going to go as far as to say burlesque is sex work, right? But I'm also not going to say that they're not related. They're like estranged cousins. So I'm just interested in your personal thoughts on that. Like, what do you believe?
I'm kind of like that. Like, burlesque is the grandmother to me of strippers. It's like, if we're striptease, we're still getting paid to take off our clothes, essentially.
Yeah.
So, you know, so maybe it's done like in a political way, and maybe it's not somebody just getting on stage and busting it open. Right.
Yeah, because that's what a lot of burlesque dancers would say. You know, they're more like creative performers as opposed to like, even though like, you've seen some strip routines.
Listen.
And like some of the stuff that they do.
Very creative performers. Like, are you kidding me? Don't try to make yourself better than. Right. Because, I'm not doing that. Yes, you are, baby. Yes, you are. Yeah. What's so different? Oh, okay, because she doesn't have to cover. Oh, okay. Right,
yeah, like it's the full frontal nudity as opposed to, even though there are strip clubs that don't allow that either.
Yeah, I know. Right,
so, yeah, I mean, so yeah. I guess in that way it is adjacent. Yeah. But, you know, when you think about, like, society as a whole and, like, what, you know, people love to, like, look down and on certain things. Yeah. So, being a stripper or a prostitute or anything in that way is seen as, like, you know, it's not looked upon favorably. Even though I feel like strip culture has definitely changed.
Oh, strip culture has definitely
in terms of like, that's being a stripper. I remember like in the 90s or something when I was a kid, you know, like if you were a stripper, that was something like you don't really want nobody else to know about it.
Right. You didn't talk about it.
Yeah, nah. It's just
but now these girls are like, yeah, come see me.
Yeah, exactly. You know what I'm saying? Like that's their whole thing. And you know, and how you may feel about that, I guess it depends on where your moral compass is. But it's just kind of what it is. But and to your point, burlesque is a form, or I should say, because stripping is a form of that.
It's a form of
Right. Because burlesque came first, right? Yeah.
Indeed.
Gotta get it right. Yeah, man. So, I'm curious.
Oh boy.
I'm gonna get a little personal.
Okay.
Do you mind? Do you mind if we get a little personal?
Let's go. I'm here.
Okay. So, you are a single woman, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So, so I assume that means you date.
Yeah.
So, does this affect your dating life at all? Do people assume certain things or anything, or do you let people know? Do you feel like you kind of like, or does it any way play a role in terms of like your personal dating life?
No, because everyone that has ever chose to date me knows what I do, because I'm very open. Like, hey,
Right.
I'm a burlesque performer. I also do hula. I do all of that stuff. It's fun for me.
Right.
They're supportive.
Okay.
Like there was this one person that I was seeing. He didn't miss a show, like all of the virtual shows and all of that, and then came to some shows in Chicago. Didn't miss a show. I've had other people didn't miss shows. They just always poured into me, so I've been grateful for that. I'm not going to see or date anyone that is like, oh, you should keep your clothes on. Like, yeah, you might not want to date me.
Right. So typically you've had good experiences behind that.
Yeah.
So like, because I know sometimes people can make assumptions about what you do and the things like how they may translate into your personal life and what you're into, you know what I'm saying? And I know those things can be completely separate. Like, it's something that you do is not necessarily who you are.
Right. So just because I take my clothes off don't mean I bust it open for everybody.
Yeah.
Actually, no.
And people can get that twisted.
A lot.
Very easily.
Very easily. You would be scared of my DMs on IG.
Oh, no, I can only imagine. Oh. I mean, because I know I have a lot of female friends, right? Yeah. So it's like, I just hear the stories about with regular jobs that don't even really post anything risque, just the stuff that they get.
Right.
So I can only imagine like what the type of stuff that ends up in your box.
Yeah, it's wild.
Pause. Yeah.
Good one.
Just you gotta be spot on. Yeah, with it, man. You guys gotta be right there. So. You also told me that you were getting into fire eating.
Yes.
So like I've only ever seen stuff like that, like the circus or something like that. So like, how do you even have you started the process? So how do you even fucking learn something like that? Like, what do you like? And like, so obviously you still have your eyebrows, your eyelashes, and everything. So there have been no accidents.
No.
You know what I'm saying?
No. Even though I've heard
no Michael Jackson Pepsi commercial moments.
But I've heard the horror stories.
I mean, I can only imagine because it's fire.
It's fire.
Yeah, and you're putting it in your mouth.
Fire.
Yes.
It's real fire. And you do not coat your mouth with anything special. No like secret sauce or anything. You actually dip the wick in kerosene. You dip it in gas. You set that motherfucker on fire. And, as I'm learning this, I feel it come to my face because he's like, you got to take it. And I'm like, oh, shit, this is hot. This is fire. And it's like, oh, don't inhale, because if you inhale, you will collapse your lungs and you'll die. Oh.
Okay.
Right before I stick this thing in my mouth. But don't inhale or you'll collapse your lungs and die. Yeah. It's wild. So
obviously you didn't die.
I didn't die.
Yeah.
I burped gasoline for about a week or two.
Holy
Felt like
shit.
I was making out with a pump. Cool. Party.
So what made you want to start eating fire?
I read something that said if it makes you scared, do it. And I'm like, yeah.
I would imagine that would scare the shit out of you, especially how they say if you inhale it, you're gonna die.
Yeah, I was like, it's not a lot of people of color that do fire eating, fire performance. We're out there. We're definitely out there, but it's not a lot. So I'm like, okay, well, let me just throw my little card in there and just add something else to being one of the world's greatest performers.
Okay, yeah. little spice.
Yeah, a little spice.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna pray for you.
Yep. Keep me in your prayers.
Cause you out this motherfucker eating fire. Like,
Yeah,
that's wild.
I burnt my lip.
Okay.
I did because I got too close to the steel part, and I had a little mark, a little kiss.
So basically, are you like dousing the flame with your mouth? Like
with your mouth, like you put it in, and it's like make it like a O. And yeah.
Oh.
But you're putting it in your mouth. Yeah. Once you get over taking it that close and you get it there, you're like, I did it, and you want to do it again.
Okay. There were so many pause moments, but I just decided to let you talk. I didn't want to do it again. I feel like it was too soon to go ahead again. But I was just the whole time I was just like,
your brain was just firing. Put it in your mouth. Yeah, blow.
When it came on my face, I was like, oh, okay.
But I really want to learn how to hoop with fire.
Right. So you've also been into hula hooping,
Absolutely.
which I've seen you do that.
Yes.
And it's really amazing how long you can do it for. It's kind of almost hypnotizing. Because I remember I saw you at the Silver Room. You just out there shimmying with your hula hoop. And I saw you for a while before I actually came up to you. Okay. You know what I'm saying? I was just like, yo, that is amazing.
In a zone.
Yeah, like for real. You just, you know what I'm saying? Just waving to people, speaking, still, hoop just going around. So how did you get into that?
I've been hula hooping since I was a kid.
Okay.
That was always just fun for me.
Right.
Fun for me. But as I've gotten older, it's like, oh, okay, I've always loved hula hooping. Let me see if I can dance with it. And that's when I started. And then it's like, well, how long can I keep it up? Because I saw Grace Jones in Afropunk. I saw Grace Jones in Afropunk. It was either 2015 or 2017. But to see this woman who was like 70 and some heels and with this hula hoop, and she did her last act with a hula hoop, and it did not drop until she said it was time for it to drop. She sang the song. She introduced each band member. I mean, it was amazing to just sit there and watch her do that. And then when she finally said good night, boom, I was done. I was done. I was like, oh, okay.
Hey, man, Grace Jones always been a bad one, man.
That's look at here.
Yeah, the baddest.
The baddest.
Yeah.
You know, she's on that list of, I call her mother. You know,
oh, yeah, especially in terms like her culture and influence.
Mm-hmm.
And also like, you know, classic and Boomerang. classic and Boomerang.
Oh, Grace.
Yeah.
I love her. She's definitely a music.
So once you saw that, you just said like, I was
like, this is goals. This is goals.
Well, so like to turn that into like a performance art. So do you incorporate that into your shows?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I've been actually using it more. Okay. So, you know, I'm like, okay, well, let me just see if I use my hoop, and I'll do my dance. And then sometimes I remember I got hired for a private party. Right. I did my dance, and it was just a period that was just quiet. And I was like, okay, let me just grab my hoop, because I just brought it anyway. And I grabbed the hoop, and I just started spinning. And then it was like bees to a flower. They were drawn. Now it's a game. People want to toss money through the hoop. They were enamored.
Hey, it's some strippers that just heard that. Like, toss money through the hoop. Are we doing that shit?
Get it, girl.
I ain't even thought about that.
I'm saying, though. I'm saying.
No, but I'm telling you, like, just you doing that, like, it really is kind of like almost like hypnotizing. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just amazing to see somebody, because I mean, obviously I can't do that, no shit like that.
Why is it obviously? You could do it.
Well, yeah, I guess it's not so obvious, but no, I can't.
Okay.
I can't. So, but just to like, but obviously, you know, everybody's tried a hula hoop before in their life, right? Mm-hmm. So I know it's just like, I've never been able to get beyond like and it's not something that I've done a lot of times, but the times I have done it, like maybe like one rotation.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So just to see you just doing it like it's nothing, like it's just kind of like you know what I'm saying, like the way the sun, the way like the earth orbits around the sun is the way that hula hoop is going. Like it's just kind of, it's really amazing to see. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, and you really just want to see like how long can she do this for?
It does become, it's transcendental.
Okay.
Because I've had out of body experiences doing it before. I actually have.
So, you posted something not that long ago. You said you were in a drummer circle.
Yep.
Did that involve the hoop, or was that something completely different?
That was with the hoop.
Okay,
that was it.
And you said you had like this out of body experience.
Sure
Do you want to talk about that?
Absolutely. I went up to Bongo Beach, and I had my hoop, and you know they were like, "Come," and I was like, "No." I was being shy, and they were like, "No, come," and it's this bullseye, and it's red, black, and green. So I get in the middle of it, and music can take me places.
Right.
Music can just transport me anyway. So as I was hooping, I would go to each artist as they were playing, and I would spin, and give them their time. Okay. Then I moved to the middle, and it was like all of those individual sounds became one symphony. And it was like I was spinning, and I looked up at the trees, and I was gone. And it was like one of my ancestors, someone was like, "Oh, okay, we're going to have some fun. I'm about to play." And it was just something else. It was something different. And I felt it in my body. It was wild. And like when it stopped, I was like, "Oh God," like I went to the side and I cried. Yeah, it was wild. And at that point, people were clapping for me.
Wow.
Yeah, it was powerful.
It sounds like it. That sounds pretty amazing, actually.
It was powerful, yeah.
Yeah. Well, that just got deep.
But dance is like that. Dance is transformative, you know, and even with burlesque, it's transformative. You have some acts that are just very sexy and classic and beautiful, but then you have some acts that will blow your mind, will have you crying, will have you, you know, you pumping your fist. It's so many emotions that each performer will bring because that's their art. That's what they want to show. That's what they are presenting. And you feel it, You absolutely feel it.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Just feel it just you talking about it.
Yeah.
So, can we talk about shibari?
Absolutely. What you want to talk about? What you know about that?
I don't know anything.
No?
I don't know anything. So, enlighten me. Enlighten us. Tell us about shibari.
It's
Excuse me.
Rope art. Like
rope art.
Like bondage.
Okay.
So, October is National Kink Month.
Definitely didn't know that.
I learned today too because I had an experience with a professional dom, and he posted Daddy Have. Hi, Daddy Have.
Wait, his name is what?
Hi, Daddy Have.
Daddy Have.
Hef.
Hef?
Hef.
Okay.
Heff.
Okay.
Daddy Hef.
Daddy Hef.
Yes.
Shout out to Daddy Hef.
Hey, Daddy Hef. So he posted about face slapping.
Okay.
And I was like, oh, okay. I was like, you know, thanks for the knowledge. But I also didn't know that October was National Kink Month. So, you know, that's why he posted about the face slapping. He wants people to learn.
So it's face slapping as in a kink, like, right? Like,
Yeah. So, like, impact play. So
Okay.
some people, like, for impact play, spanking.
Okay.
Bottoms and, you know,
Right.
or what legs, what backs, whatever, using different flogs or canes or dragon tails, you know, different things to. Why are you looking at me?
No, I'm just listening.
Yeah, no, but it's fun. I love it. I know you asked me about shibari. We were going on a whole nother.
No. This is all. It's all related. I just speak your mind. Speak your piece. I want you to say what you want to say.
It is. So with impact play, you know, and even like with the face slapping. You never been slapped during sex?
I haven't. No.
Have you slapped anyone during sex?
Yes.
Oh, you have.
I mean, you know, in the moment, somebody asks. You know what I mean? I don't want to expose.
Your hands, no, don't expose anything. Your hands are big because I've had someone like, well, my hands are too big to slap you. And I'm like, okay, I didn't say knock me out.
Yeah, and obviously, right. So I didn't like go full on, like, you know what I'm saying? But, you know, yeah, but it's just like, all right, all right, that's what you want. You know what I'm saying? But I realize that, like, I'm not a small guy. Right. You know, I have a little bit of strength. Right. So I'm not just finna haul off, right?
No, you can't.
I don't want to knock you out in the middle of, you know what I'm saying?
No.
That would kind of, I think that would ruin the moment.
I think it would.
Yeah.
Especially you got to go to the hospital.
I mean, I can fuck around and get somebody a concussion out here, man. You know what I'm saying?
No, seriously?
Yeah, nah.
Yeah.
So I didn't obviously I didn't go too far with it, but I mean, I've had some experience with that, but it's not something that, like, I wouldn't want to be slapped. Because I feel like at that point, shit, party over. Like, especially if I didn't ask you. Yeah.
Yeah. Some people
you just slapped
like
me? Get the fuck out of here.
Later. Lady, unhand me. Who are you?
Unhand me, ruffian.
Right. Dastardly fiend. What's wrong with you?
No, yeah, but I do understand that there's a whole world around that. And like, obviously as I've gotten older, get more experience with different things, and so it may not necessarily be something I want done to me. Yeah. But I'm always open into what people, anybody that I'm with, what they're into. Yeah. As long as they're open to sharing that with me. Yes. You know what I'm saying? Like so now I've definitely had experiences where somebody did something to me that I wasn't ready for, and that shit just killed. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Because you gotta have consent.
Yeah.
That's so necessary.
Yeah.
Consent is sexy. Consent is just everything.
I mean, I feel like in that situation, you want to do what that person wants. I mean, I guess a lot of people can be selfish when it comes to that. And a lot of it can be ego. And I know especially a lot of times with women, they may not necessarily want to say things, or they may say something that may not change in the beginning. But like with me, especially if I really care about the person, man, just tell me. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, and even if I may be a little butthurt in the beginning, you know what I'm saying? Just tell me. Yeah. And then we can work it out. Yeah. Because it's not like I'm not, I don't have anything to be ashamed of in person, like, in terms of like, what I can do. Yeah. So I have a level of confidence there that like it ain't too much gonna break my stride or break my ego when it comes to that. Yeah. So I mean I'm open, but it's just like but it's only so much that like don't slap me. Don't slap me.
Do not slap me.
Don't tie me up. I don't trust people like that.
Okay. So like those are two of the things that I've learned as I'm dipping my toe and getting more into kink and BDSM. Mm-hmm. I'm learning more about the trust. Right. The trust that you have to have, especially as like me being on the receiving end, I'm a sub. Okay. And like Daddy Hef was my dom. Okay. So that means I consent for him to do certain things, but he always asks me first. Even when we had our scene, he's gonna ask me. He pulls out all his tools, and he's like, "Well, Kitty, can I use this? This flog? Yes, you can. Yes, Daddy Hef. Okay. Can I use this cane? Yes, Daddy Hef. Can I use this knife? Yes, Daddy Hef.
Wait. Okay. What? So what? Can we talk about what happens with the knife?
Well, my eyes. I'm blindfolded. Oh. I'm blindfolded.
Okay.
So, I had the choice between a blindfold or a hood.
Okay.
And I chose a blindfold.
Okay.
And but when I did have vision, he showed me the knife, and I've actually had knife play one time before. And that is something that's very, you have to trust a lot.
I would imagine.
So I'm not doing that with everyone, because no. And he put it to my skin, and he let me feel it to make sure I was comfortable with it. And I was like, okay, I'm comfortable with it. He was like, can I put it to your neck? And I said, no.
Okay.
No, because there are some things that I'm just like, no, this will turn into a different thing for me.
Right.
And he's like, he made the point to tell me, he was like, Kitti, a lot of people think that it's the dom that has the power. He said, but that's not what it's about. He said, the power lies in the sub. He said, if you tell me something that you don't want to happen, I will stop. If you don't want me to use this, I will put it away. Done. Back in the bag. He was like, I'm here for you. This is about you. So you let me know. If you don't want that, I put it away. It becomes a different type of thing if I'm using something that you don't want.
So, and that's interesting because, and I guess it depends on your perspective and how you look at pleasure, right?
Yeah.
Because it's about, okay, are you doing this for yourself or are you doing this for the person?
Oh, which one, the sub or the dom?
Well, I'm just speaking in general, in terms of like how people view pleasure, and it's like, okay, at the end of the day, if you're only concerned about your wants, then you're not really going to care about what the other person wants, right? Because you're only thinking about what your needs are. But that's supposed to be a very reciprocal relationship, right?
Yeah.
So you should, in theory and in practice, get pleasure off of pleasing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Ideally, that's the way it should be between both. So it's interesting to hear that particular relationship and something that people may not, when you think about doms and subs, like they're supposed to dominate, right?
Yeah.
But it's really about like, okay, but what does this person want? And if it's not fun for me, if it's not pleasurable
for them, right?
Right. Yeah. I've never necessarily heard it described in that way. Well, I'm not going to sit here and say I've heard it described a lot of times, but I've never heard it described in that way. So it's just really interesting to hear you characterize it like that.
Yeah, and it's in what he was telling me is it's about communication. You have to communicate. He was like, number one, you have to listen to me. He said something. He was like, you belong to me tonight, and I was like, oh. Okay. No. Yes, Daddy have. Yes, Daddy have. Okay. All right. Here we go. And he was like, because you're going to have to listen to me, because if you don't listen to me, this can go bad very quickly. So you have to communicate with me. Let me know what you like, what you don't like. If you want me to go harder, if you want me to go softer, whatever you want, you're going to need to tell me. You're going to need to communicate. If you want me to stop, you have a safe word. You say that, and then it's done. I won't do it anymore. Same way with the shibari. Like when I'm getting tied up, the guy who usually ties me, his name is Sir Nadi.
Okay.
So
Sir Nadi like knots?
Yeah. So when Sir ties me, he's always asking me, is that okay, Kitti? Or is it too tight, Kitti? Are you all right, Kitti? Can you still move your hands? How is that? Because he's like, because what you also have to understand is your blood. I'm stopping your blood. You can lose a limb.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's serious.
You can lose a limb. So a lot of this stuff is like dangerous.
It's like right on the line.
It's right on the line.
Yeah.
Yeah, you riding that line.
Well, you said, if it scares you, you should do it, right? So you really done took that to heart. You just...
I'm not scared, though. I'm not scared.
Not at all.
No, I like pain.
Okay.
But I don't like needles. But I like pain. I've always, like, if somebody smacked my butt, I'm like, oh, Okay, we'll do that again. Okay, we'll do that again. All right. How much of it can I take? And what I'm learning and actually starting to read certain things, like there have been articles written about this, how BDSM and kink is used in therapy, like used as like a trauma like response to help someone, because that was what I felt. Like I went in feeling one way and I came out feeling way better than before. And I also know that in the hands of someone that doesn't know what they're doing and you're opening yourself up like that, you can easily be manipulated. You can easily be mind fucked. But I'm so grateful that I was in the hands of someone who cared for me and wasn't using the power for evil.
Yeah, and so I can imagine that a lot of people, when we talked about people that are more selfish, and this is just really about their own selfish desires, and they're going to do, excuse me, they're going to do what they want to do to you, pretty much regardless.
Yeah, no.
So like, so how does that like, so how did you come into like knowing or like being with these people? How did you select them? Or?
Actually, Daddy Half and I met on IG.
Okay.
Like the first time I was with him or performed a scene with him was the first time I met him.
Okay.
But we had talked and, you know, we had built like a rapport. And I actually liked what he did. He was very much so, he clears heart space.
Okay.
So before, he's about heart space connection. And I did tell him before our scene started, I'm like, look, I don't like degradation. Do not degrade me. Because in some parts of BDSM, people don't mind being a slut, you dirty bitch.
Yeah, some people like that.
It works for them.
Yeah, some people like that stuff.
Now that might or might not work for me if you know me well. But you gotta know me well.
Right, got you.
Right. So I'm like, I have a praise kink.
Okay.
So I let him know that from the jump. No degradation. It's gonna be about praise. So, you know, when he cleared the heart space after we had our negotiation with what we were going to use and what we weren't going to use, you know, he put away everything that I said no to, which I said no to 3 things. They were all butt plugs. Not putting anything in my butt.
Hey, and that's where I draw the hard ass line. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah. You know, like I'm open to a lot of things, but under no circumstances man, I'm trying to work up the nerve to get my prostate exam. You know what I'm saying?
I was about to say, but they say milking the prostate for a man is like the most intense orgasm that you guys.
I have also heard that, but you know what? Yeah, I'm straight.
What?
Yeah, I'm not. No. It's okay. So I'll tell a story. I'm gonna have to tell my kid that she can't watch this.
That's fine. Yeah, this is the adult one.
Right. Yeah. This is definitely like nah. But there is. I had an experience. So there's a couple, right? Mm-hmm. Once it was actually when I was younger, when I was in high school, and somebody I was dealing with at the time just tried to like stick their finger up there. I'm like,
oh. Like, wait.
You know what I'm saying? Like legit almost stole on. And then there was a time where it was somebody that I had legit, you know, I was younger. I legit just met this person. And, you know, end up, you know, hitting it off and then, you know, end up hitting it, right? Mm-hmm. So in the midst of a position change, she did like some ninja shit and slid underneath me and just started like aggressively like licking my asshole. Mm-hmm. And I might have to tell my mama she can't watch this either.
This is a true adult one.
Yeah, but when I tell you, I'm talking about party over. It was so aggressive. It was like she punched my asshole with her face. It was just like, what? Why would you do that?
Oh my God, I'm trying not to scream in this mic. Oh my Lord.
And I just kind of sat there for a second, like remember in Boomerang we talked about when Eddie Murphy was sitting there with the cheese, and I'm sitting there like I felt so violated, and I didn't even say nothing. I just put my clothes on and I just left. So I may
Was
have
that the last time you talked to her?
Oh yeah, never again, never again, never seen her. You know what I'm saying? Nothing ever.
You were like dead.
Oh yeah, no, yeah, you are dead to me. So I might have a little trauma behind that.
Understood.
Yeah.
Understood. Again, consent.
There was no consent.
There was no consent.
Yeah. So yeah. So all that, anything surrounding that is just like, nah, Joe, I'm straight. You know what I'm saying? And I pretty much that is not really something I ever really desired anyway.
Yeah.
But then having those experiences just kind of like confirmed that, like, nah, Joe, I'm good. So yeah. Hard line, you know what I'm saying?
So yeah,
open to a lot of other things,
but that's
I can't go for that.
You have to know your hard nose. You have to know your hard nose,
right.
and people have to respect your hard nose.
Right.
You know, and so that was it with he and I. These are my hard nose, and he respected those, and you know, we commenced to the scene. with everything else, with the knife, with the whips, with the flogs, with the Wolverine claw, with the it's like this, I forget what it's called. It's like nails on a circle, but it feels like a scratcher. And everything, the first time he showed me, he did it real soft. Man, he whipped my ass. I was like, oh my God, oh Jesus, oh Lord.
Bait and switch.
Like hello. Like, yo, that is not what you just showed me.
So, just a question before we wrap up.
Mm-hmm.
So, you just said this is National Kink Month. Like, so it's just news to me. I didn't know there was such a thing. So, I do feel like, you know, we were kind of having a conversation before we started off camera about, like, you know, polyamory and things, just kind of like people being more open sexually. Yeah. So, I feel like a lot of what you described, I feel like most people have kinks and they might just not call them that. Yeah. Or they not realize that this is that. Yeah. But just in your perspective, do you feel like now with kind of like people's views of relationships and sexuality evolving, do you feel like that's also something that people's views are evolving in terms of?
As far as kink?
Yes.
Absolutely. I see a movement. It's slow, but I do actually see an us. Because a lot of people are like, oh, that's some white people shit. It's not white people shit. It's so many black people that love all aspects of it. Because it's a wide web. It's so many different ones. Like, so many different ones.
Yeah. Nah, and it's like, I mean, and it depends on different things. Yeah. Get different people off, you know? Like, absolutely. You know, I mean, I have my things. Yeah. Everybody has theirs. One, like, no two people are the same.
Right. So, you know, you got feet. You got some people like being choked. Some people like spanking.
The choking is, I feel like, is almost like common. Okay, well, maybe that's, I might be saying too much.
No. You're so funny. No, I don't. I like breath play. Mm-hmm. So choking doesn't bother me at all. I like it if you know how to do it.
Right.
You can also, again, you can fuck somebody.
Yeah, and that's another thing. You just gotta like you said, you can't like I'm really trying to like, you know what I'm saying? Like Wayne Brady choke a bitch, you know what I'm saying? Like you can't go all the way there. But you know, it's just kind of like, I mean, and you have levels, and you know, and you have to listen. You have to be willing, like, hey, you know what I'm saying? That's too much, or you know what I'm saying, a little bit more. You know,
communication.
Yeah.
Definitely. You know, so you have that. Let's see, what else are some other ones? Oh, predator versus prey. So primal. You have exhibitionism, voyeurism.
Yeah, so I exhibition. I knew people that were into that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, voyeurism, and exhibitionism. So I've definitely had some experiences, not so much with the voyeurism, but with exhibitionism. Okay. You know, public places, not in front of like specifically going like for people to watch, but just like being in places where like you could be. Okay. You know what I'm saying, and just not really caring. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So, but I feel like I know people that's really like
their thing.
Yeah, like they about that life.
Yeah.
You know, and so it's just really interesting. Like, there's such a, like you just said, there's such a wide array. You know what I'm saying? And then, you know, so some of that stuff was just, oh yeah, that's kind of cool. And some of that is just like, you know what? That ain't for me, dog.
Like, I'm not gonna yuck your yum.
Yeah, like, and you know, I mean, even people get into like, you know, stuff for like fecal matter, and that's definitely.
Yeah, that's called scat play.
That's what that's called?
Scat.
Yeah, nah, well, no scat for me.
No scat for me.
Either way,
no
I'm
scat
not,
for this cat.
right. I'm not doing it. Yeah, but I've definitely had some weird experience because some people like biting. I remember, and that's another thing with consent.
Biting.
It was
Biting.
This woman bit me like right. I'll never forget this shit for as long as I live.
You've been traumatized.
I've had some experiences, man.
These women are aggressive.
Man,
I didn't think women were so aggressive.
Oh.
Okay.
And yeah, so because so I'll never forget, bro. She bit me right here, and she bit me so hard my knees buckled, and I'm just like, "Are you a vampire?"
It's a pressure point.
Yeah, and it was just like, once again, party over. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you know what?
Get out.
Yeah, I don't know
you.
what I had to leave. I was at her place.
Oh, yeah. I'm leaving.
Yeah,
I'm
just like,
putting myself out.
Yeah,
Thanks.
yeah. You know what? This ain't gonna work for me. So I'm just gonna leave. It's just like, why would you like? And I understand if that's your thing, but like, and you know, I'm not really biting. Does nothing for me. You know what I'm saying? But any other time it's happened, it's been like a little cute little nibble. Nah, she's like, what is wrong with you? You know what I'm saying? Like, I am scared now. So I'm gonna go home. You have a nice life. So yeah, no. So but yeah. So like I said, it's really interesting. You know what I'm saying? But then you come across some things where like people do something and just like, oh,
yeah.
Oh.
Well,
you have low key changed my life.
Yeah. Indeed.
Yeah. You know, so you know what I'm saying? You gotta be open. And I feel like especially, you know, guys can tend to be, and especially when you talk about like toys and stuff like that, it's just like, well, why you need the toy? You know what I'm saying? And I get it if you feel like, because I even had situations where like, you know, if you feel like the toy gets more action than you, you know what I'm saying? But, you know, but that's not really that can be an ego thing. Things you gotta get past, and it's about having certain understanding and not understandings that I had to come to for myself.
Okay.
Right. But incorporating those can really.
It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, it can be. It can be.
Yeah.
It can be.
It can be a lot of fun. They have toys for guys too. No butt play.
Right. And it's funny what I've been seeing because it's more of that because what they call it that Gawk 4000.
Yes. Yes.
And I just don't know if I just because you know I don't know.
But why not just try it? How will you know if you don't try? I need somebody to give me some feedback.
Oh, you need a review?
I need a review. I want to know what happens. Like, was it good? Was it good?
Yeah, I don't know.
What? Why not?
It just doesn't
doesn't sit right in your head.
It doesn't look like a good time. Whenever I see it, it doesn't look like a good time.
You put some lube on it.
Yeah,
it just let it go.
Yeah, but they're calling it the male rose. Yeah, you know, and the rose definitely got a lot of dudes up in the tizzy. I remember, like, you know, like when the snow was up, like she like tell the rose to go shovel your snow. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, bro.
Yeah, the guys were not feeling the rose.
Yeah, nah. But the thing is, it's just like, you know, that's a woman thing, you know. You know, and like I said, if it's in a place where like you're in a relationship, I think it's something that you just kind of have to accept.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Join in.
Yeah, and
make
it's
it
just
fun
like,
for the both of you.
Yeah, right. You know,
Yeah.
and it's you know, like I said, but things, you know, you have to evolve, and you know, you have to learn.
Yeah.
And you have to gain, but that's about, like we were talking about, life, evolving, gaining new perspective on things, you know, not being afraid to try things like eating fire and, you know.
And burlesque.
And shibari,
and Sheabutter getting tied up. Yes.
And knife play, which I'm still kind of like still confused as to exactly what happens there. But this has been really fun.
Thank you.
Yeah, man. I definitely learned some things today. Yeah. So I feel like you and everybody else may have learned some things about me. But yeah, man. This was a good time. I definitely appreciate you coming through.
Absolutely.
And blessing my platform. I'm gonna give you one more round of applause. I didn't do that before, so I got to give you one on the way out.
Thank you.
Yeah, man, but this has been great. To everybody out there, all my viewers, all my subscribers, thank you so much. As I always say, there's so much content out here. There's so many things you could be looking at. So if you choose to look at my stuff, I just never want to take that for granted. I appreciate everybody for tuning in, liking, subscribing, commenting, sharing, all that good stuff. But until next time, peace out.
And you can follow me.
Oh, I'm sorry.
On IG at kitti.o.sheabutter. So Kitti, KITTI.o.sheabutter.
Yeah, where are my manners? And do you have anything coming up? Anything on the horizon that people need to be checking for? Any shows or anything like that?
It's all private right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. All private shows. But I will be posting on my IG. I always keep that up there.
Okay. All right, so the private shows is busting, huh?
You know what? Bye, y'all.
Peace out, man.